Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Dan the Man, brother Azrael, right? Um, Coming again, man. Another week, man. I hope you guys had a great week. Ending off the week here. Shabbat shalom to all of those that celebrate the Sabbath or observe the Sabbath on the Saturday in this society, right? You guys issue it in pretty nicely. Hope you guys have a peaceful Sabbath for the whole 24 hours, right? Um, Hope you had a good week. If not, it's time to hit the reset button. You know what I'm saying? So forget all about all that stuff and dive into some rest and then rejuvenate, come back strong in the beginning of this next week. But without further ado, man, we give all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We do so by way of His only begotten Son, who sent His Son as an instrument of salvation for the nation of Israel. Right? He's coming back to save them from all them that hate them. Right? But nonetheless, man, we have another video for you guys today on this Friday. What is it? Freestyle Friday, Factual Friday, whatever you want to call it, man. We got a good one. I know we're getting on kind of late, man. But good news, it should be a goodie, but a shorty, right? So I know we say that all the time, but this one probably will be on the shorter end. It's going to be a little bit of an exhortation to just anybody in general, especially adults and young adults, right, that are going about life and just dealing with the obstacles that life has to offer, right? Without further ado, though, man, we're going to jump straight into it. The video is going to be called Has To versus Gets To, right? Has To versus Gets To. I'm going to share a video real quick before we get into it, and then we'll take it from there, right? You got any words, brother?
Now let's get into it.
Let me see if I can pull this up.
And Shabbat Shalom, man. Hope life is lifing in a good way for everybody.
Right. Y'all let me know if you can hear this or not, right? I don't know if I need to make this bigger or not. Let me see. Wish we could take this little head piece off, but it's okay. Azrael, give me a thumbs up if you can hear it okay once we start playing.
Coach of the Boston Celtics, Coach Mazzulla, was being interviewed, and the interviewer asked him the question and said this.
It seems to me that Jason has to deal with unfair criticism.
Gets to deal with. He gets to deal with it. It's the ultimate compliment. And that's what we talk about. It's like, this is what you asked for.
Right, man. And that is the title of the video, man. Has to versus gets to, right? He asks a dynamic player, Jason Tatum, right? And he says he has to deal with all this criticism. And the guy counters and he says it's not that he has to, he gets to, right? This is what he asked for. He asked to be put in this position, right?
You asked to be one of the best players in the NBA on the best team in the NBA with an opportunity, to be an icon for the league for a long, long time. This is what you asked for.
And so what most people don't realize is that when they ask for success, is that what comes with it is criticism, pressure, and the weight of expectations. But here's the thing. Sometimes your biggest problem is a privilege. People would kill to have your problem.
Sometimes your biggest problem is a privilege. Man, that's a banger right there, right? He said people would kill to have your problems, right? People would kill to have your problems. This brings me back to a basketball camp that we went to, right? And before every morning, he went down the same spiel. I think it was we went there for like a weekend or maybe 3 days, but he went down the same spiel every morning, right? He gave us a whole
for 5 days, bro.
Might have been, right? But he gave us the same spiel. He gave us 2 stories. One story was the gazelle and the lion, right? He gave us the perspective of the gazelle having to be vigilant enough to get away from the lion, and the lion waking up hungry, needing to eat, right? Um, and then the second story he gave goes along with this right here, where he said people would kill to have your problems, right? Is the fact that we wake up every day, and at the basketball camp, we're there to get better, but we woke up every day to get tired, right? And a lot of us complained that we were getting tired. And when you work out, being tired doesn't feel necessarily good. But just going along with this phrase, how many people would kill for the chance to get tired, right? How many people are bedridden that can't get tired? How many people have diseases and conditions that won't allow them to get tired, or they might lose their life, right? How many people wish they could get somebody back, you know what I'm saying, that wanted to get tired, that wanted to expand their lungs? The matter of fact, the brother on the screen, he dealing with some knee problems, right? I'm sure he would kill to be in a position to be able to run freely, right, without pain. People would kill to have your problems. Always think about, no matter what you go through in life, right? No matter what position you're in, somebody would kill to be where you are, right? Think about me, like, I would, I would love to lose some of this dad weight that I got, right? But I know people would kill to be my size, right? I would love to make more money, but I know people would kill to make the money that I do make, right? I would love, right? I don't know.
I got one. So like for me, um, if you ever have like a baby that's under 1 year old, you know that their sleep patterns is crazy, right? And it's really irritating to the soul, to your spirit, when you wake up in the middle of the night, multiple times in the night, right, to a crying, screaming, wailing baby. You may see that as a problem and be like, "Hey, oh my God," right? But there's literally parents out there that can't change their babies because maybe they were a soldier and they got both their arms amputated.
Check this out. There's parents out there that wish they had those problems and they can't get pregnant.
Right. There's
Right.
parents out there that don't. There's a parent out there that don't have legs and can't get out the bed to go to
People,
the crying baby. Like,
people complain about not being able to sleep at night, not knowing that there's people out there that's dying for the chance to not be able to sleep at night because they have to tend to a baby that they love.
and they
Right.
want the experience and to be able to talk about it with other parents because they don't have that. They don't have that. They can't share that same experience.
Right. Right. So just highlighting this little point right here, people would kill to have your problems, no matter what position you're in, right? We're gonna keep playing.
Because when you're chasing greatness, when you declare to the world, I want to be the best, you're also saying, bring me the really good problems. That's the fine print of ambition. You're not just signing up for the accolades. You are signing up for the late nights, the tough decisions.
You're signing up for the late nights. What people don't understand, when they go to sleep, before they lay their head down and they pray for certain things, right? They don't understand what comes with it, right? It's a precept I bring out all the time. They don't count the cost. People don't count the cost. They like the glitz and glamour. They like the idea of being the GM, the CEO. They like the idea of it, but they don't understand the tough decisions that's going to have to come with it, right? Laying off somebody who's the sole proprietor of their family. They got 3 kids, but you got to do it. They don't understand. They don't see the late nights, right? Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but they don't see the nights that you come home late because you was out painting all night trying to get some extra money. They don't see the nights where you staying up trying to look into getting more prospects and stuff like that, right? And same thing what we were just talking about for even if you want to talk about kids, right? People want to have kids. People want to get married. They don't envision the late nights where they can't go to sleep. They don't envision the tough moments of arguing back and forth with your spouse until you get it right, right? These are things that people bypass.
Right. But you prayed and fasted for a husband or a wife. So you got to look at it as, I don't have to have this conversation with my spouse. I get to have this conversation with my spouse. There's some people out there that's so lonely that they wish they could fill their day up with arguments and debates with their spouse. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm watching Grey's Anatomy. After spoiler alert, after Derek Shepherd died.
It's no spoiler alert, brother. You're late.
Some people might be on the late train with me, but after Derek Shepherd died, there's a couple seasons afterwards. Meredith breaks down and she's saying all this. She's venting. She's saying how she would kill just to have an argument with her. She said, man, when me and Derek, before he died, we was not in the best place, right? But I would kill just to be in that moment with him, even though we weren't in the best place. I would kill just to be in to get in the argument with my husband, right? Because he's not here. So even in your worst positions, in your worst situations, people would still kill to be in your position, right? Has to versus gets to. Like the brother just said, it's people dread having to go home and face their husband or face their wife at the end of the day, right? You get to go see your husband. You get to go see your wife at the end of the day, right? A lot of people don't get to go home to nothing, right? Has to versus gets to. I'm gonna finish it out. I don't think you got much more.
And yes, the public scrutiny. You asked for this when you set your sights on the top. This is the cost of admission for the life you want. When the pressure builds, don't run from it. Lean in and say, I get to do this. Because remember, you asked for this.
Remember, you asked for this, right? Think, and again, this goes into prayer too. People talk about all the time, be very specific in your prayers, right? Down to the stuff that's going to be happening behind the scenes, right? Count the cost. Count the cost when you do your prayers. You know what I'm saying? Because what you ask for, you gonna get. You know what I'm saying? What you ask for, you gonna get. But let me share my screen, man. We're gonna get into some scriptures. And like I said, it's not gonna be a long one, just a kind of a quick exhortation. Just encouraging folks to understand and have that and take that principle in their life. Has to versus gets to, right? We're gonna start right here in the book of James, chapter 1. We can start at verse number 2.
Book of James, chapter 1 and verse number 2. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations.
It says, my brethren, we go to this one all the time, but it says, count it all joy when you find yourself in temptation, right? And these temptations, man, it's more so like obstacles that you have to get over. That's what temptation is. But count it all joy when you run into these things, man, right? Why should you count it all joy? Verse number 3.
Verse 3, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience.
Because the trying of your faith, it works patience. It's all building your character, right? You see the CEO of somewhere, so the GM of somewhere, right? They speak with a certain confidence, right? They speak with a certain authority because their patience has been tried, their faith has been tried, and they know what they're capable of. But you have to go through certain things to get to that point, to talk the talk, to have that swagger, right? Verse number 4.
Verse 4. But let patience have her perfect work.
Let patience have her perfect work. Keep reading.
That ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing.
right? That's the end goal, man. Building your character. Every level that you climb in life, right? You're building yourself up. It's kind of like Dragon Ball Z, you know, how they go Super Saiyan and stuff, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger till they finally reach their peak, right? Um, you have to, and even in the Super Saiyan, right? They're screaming in agony as they're getting bigger, right? Then they finally get there though. They walking different, they talking different, they got more powers, they know how to tap into their inner self, right? It's the same thing with the position that you're given, right? No, you don't make $100,000 a year, right? But the $40,000 a year that you have, man, it's gonna come with obstacles. And then once you master those obstacles and you talking different, you walking different at 40,000, before you know you getting a raise because somebody noticed, oh, you shouldn't be making 40,000, you should be making more, right? But there's stepping stones to these things, right? But it's gonna make you perfect in the end, right? Same thing for it's spirituality too, right? Coming into this truth, building yourself up with the knowledge of of the Bible and these scriptures, right? We talk about all the time in this truth. We go through stages. You know, at first, you killing your flesh because of the temptation, you know, and it may be a little hard at first. It doesn't feel too good. Then you get into a routine of things, right? It still doesn't feel good, but you done practice enough to where you know right from wrong. You on a little routine. You got people holding you accountable. Then you get to a point where, man, you don't even think about eating pork no more. The taste is gone from you until you get to that next level to where it's like it's second nature. The law, keeping these commandments is second nature. It's in you. It's not on me. It's in me, right? Let's go to verse 5.
Verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall
Right,
be
man.
given him.
Right, man. Because this is how you solve this stuff, man. We're gonna get into wisdom as well, man, as the one of the things that you can tap into to help you overcome these obstacles that life brings you, right? This read verse number 6.
Verse 6. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, for he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed.
You got to be sure about yourself, man. You got to be sure that God has you where he wants you to be. You can't second guess yourself, right? Even though it looks bad, you can't second guess yourself. You got to soak up the knowledge in the era that you're in, and you got to take from that situation you're in, even when it's bad. You got to make sure you grab all the stones, stars, the Dragon Balls, at the level that you're on before you can go to the next. Because you go to the next one and you get there and you got some, but you're like, dang, man, I should have gathered a little bit more, right? You don't want to be there. You don't want to be in that situation. You want to be able to scale yourself appropriately. And verse number 7.
Verse number 7. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord.
Right, man, this is a mindset to have, like not thinking that you're owed anything from the Lord. One thing about this truth, one thing about God in general is that he's not gonna just give it to you on a silver platter. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those guys where he's like, show me you're faithful with a little and I'll bless you with a lot. He's one of them. You know what I'm saying? So let's not go to sleep and pray for, the impossible to happen. We know he can make it's a small thing for him to make a poor man rich. But ultimately speaking, that's not the way the Bible sets in harmony for our lives, And so let not a man think that he shall receive anything from the Lord. Don't go into anything thinking that he's just going to give it to you, right? And that brings me to another point too, right? And I was going to get into it later, but we talked about it a little bit, and what it comes down to is this, right? We have to normalize difficulty. We got to normalize difficulty. What does that mean? We got to expect it. You know what I'm saying? We gotta expect raising kids to be hard. We gotta expect our job to be annoying, gruesome, uh, you know, just gets under our skin sometimes. We gotta expect these things because if we don't, we'll be like verse number 7. We think God's gonna give us an easy road, and He's not. When you expect things, man, you put expectations on things and expectations on people. That's when you get your feelings hurt the most. That's when you fall into depression, right? Matter of fact, we can jump into it right here. Let's go to Proverbs. Because everybody,
Expectations definitely destroy relationships and also destroy opportunities, man. Expectations. And all expectations are it's under the umbrella of imagination.
right?
And it's also selfish because your expectations are how you want things to go. Sometimes we got to
Right.
step back into reality and just assess the situation and live in the moment.
And think about it from somebody else's point of view.
Right. Stop always playing on the defense or playing the victim. I seen a video not too long ago on social media, and the guy said it was a podcast, and they were talking about, bro, stop taking everything personal. And he was saying, a lot of us, what we do is we look at a situation and we make it personal. He gave 2 examples. He said we either make it personal or we take it personal, meaning you can look at something and it could be far fetched, but you just make it personal. Like, they knew that I was gonna be here, and they still did this X, Y, and Z, and they didn't invite me to here, and they knew how I was gonna feel. And he was like, "Bro, I'm not even thinking about you. I'm not even thinking about you." Then he said, "Then you can take things personal." Meaning, for example, I could be planning a party and I don't invite you, but it doesn't cross my mind that I didn't invite you because I'm thinking about the party. I'm not thinking about the invitation list. I'm so consumed with the party. But you take it personal because I didn't invite you, instead of just thinking and putting yourself in my shoes like, dang, he got a lot on his plate. Maybe he forgot. Right. So a lot of times we can take things personal and we can make things personal, meaning we make things up in our mind.
Or true story, right? Somebody forgot to invite you to their wedding. Come to find out, he invited you. The person that he trusted to send out the the invitations just screwed it up and sent it to the wrong people, right?
Right.
So
Or the
your
wrong
invitation sitting,
address. Yeah.
so your invitation sitting in somebody else's mailbox. You mad, right? You ready to cut buddy off? You block him and everything, not knowing that he meant to send you one all along, right?
Right. And that all comes with expectations. You expect people to act a certain way or to do things a certain way. And it's selfish because you're thinking from your own perspective. You
Right.
got to be able to take yourself out of your own emotions and your own
Right.
imagination.
We all got a little bit of narcissism in us, and we got to deny that. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that the world revolves around us, right? Thinking that you get to messing up when you expect somebody's response to be something, right? And when they don't give it to you the way you expect it, you get mad, right? Because they didn't say it the way you want it. Because they don't. You give them a loaded question, and you tell them to respond, and when they respond, it's not the way you want them to respond, right? Expectation is what they say. What do they say? What's that saying when they say something is the thief of joy?
Comparison.
Comparison is the thief of joy. I'm here to tell you, man, expectations is the thief of joy, right? You know what I'm saying? We remixing it. Expectations is the thief of joy. Expectations look like this, like the Most High showing you the job that you're supposed to take, right? You apply for it, you get it, all praises, you're happy, and then when they tell you to pay, it's not exactly what you expected it to be. Now you're questioning yourself: should I take this job? Right? It's happened to me before, right? I wanted a job. The salary was not posted with the application. They made me go through the interview and everything. I got the job, and at the end of it, when they told me what the salary was, right? It was nothing close to what I was expecting. Them jokers wanted to pay me $12 an hour, right? Now I got to think to myself, is this really what God wants for me? Right? Even though I know clear as day he wants me in this position, right? And I got two choices. I can go through with it or I can bail. Right? I can go through with it, I can bail. I went through with it and it was greener on the other side, must I say. That's what I'll say, right? But a lot of us get to second guessing when we start expecting, right?
Right. And also, tying this kind of back to the truth, has to versus gets to, a lot of us look like we have to convince our mom, we have to convince our grandmother, we have to convince our siblings that this truth is the truth, right? And you got to look at it as we get to, because you
Right.
can just be as lost as them, right?
Right.
You cannot have a sound mind. One of the things that is emphasized in the New Testament is that he doesn't give us the spirit of fear, but a love, power, and a sound mind, right? You got to thank God every morning, every night, that you have a sound mind and you have a mind in the truth. Like, you can see things clearly of what's going on in the world, because so many people are still blind and don't know
Right.
they're blind, right? So
That's
you get to have these debates and conversations, and you get to figure out where, if pork is in something or not. You get to not celebrate holidays because you got the truth. You asked for the truth and then you received it. So
That's an amazing point, man. That's an amazing point. And what came to my mind as you said that was, when we go on the street, right, and you tell people about the truth and how they need to come into it, they hit you with. So you telling me if I believe that I have to give up pork? No, brother, you get to give up pork, right? Why do you get to give up pork? Because the other side of you giving up pork is gonna lead you to better health and obedience to the Most High. Why? Because these law, statutes, and commandments are what? For our good. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to keep these commandments, right? You get to keep these commandments, right? You should want to. This is stuff that Queen Esther was dying to know about, that she wanted to keep. When he said he didn't show his laws and his statutes to nobody else, he's gatekeeping them, right? We get to keep them. Back then, other people would die to know how we live. Why do I say that? Because in Deuteronomy, what does it say? It said that they would look at our nation and say, surely this is a wise and understanding nation, right? We weren't wise because of our own conceits. We were wise because the Most High gave us the keys to be wise. What did he give us? He gave us commandments that we got, right? That we were just so lucky to get, not forced to, not have to, but we were so lucky to get them, and we were so lucky to get to keep them, right? But Con, that's a great point. We're gonna go to Proverbs 31, and no, we're not getting into Proverbs 31 women, right? A lot of people skip right over it and go straight to verse 10, but verse number 1 through 10 is very important as well, right? If you can start at verse 1 for me.
Proverbs 31 and verse 1, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What,
Right.
my son, and what, the son of my womb, and what, the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
Right. So we talked about, with any position or situation you're in, it's gonna have obstacles and struggles. It's your job to take those head on, right? Because you get to take those things on. This is what you asked for. Now we're gonna kind of jump into how to deal with some of those things, right? And so right here we have in Proverbs 31, King Lemuel, his mom is trying to show him how to be a proper king. One of the first things she says, not to give thy strength unto women. You have to understand, right? In your position, in your situation, if you're married, right? Even if you're not married, for the men, women can be a big distraction. Women can cause your reign to fall. whether that be in the workplace, anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'll tell you one thing: people can be making really good money. Um, we work at a university, right? And a lot of these professors or coaches and all that stuff will be making pretty good money until they get infatuated with these student females, right? And they're forced to resign, right? It says, "Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings." She's trying to show her son how to be a proper king. Read verse 4 for me.
Verse 4. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for the kings to drink wine, nor for the princes strong drink.
Right? Keep reading verse 5.
Verse 5. Lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted.
And so what we just talked about was being overwhelmed in your current situation or circumstance, because you weren't expecting it to be that hard, right? And a lot of times what happens in those situations is people pick up the bottle, right? You having uh, uh, a rough time with your spouse, people pick up that bottle, right? You having a rough time with toddlers and babies. As soon as you put them to sleep, women picking up that wine glass. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a scapegoat, right? To try to escape the problems that come with your circumstance. But remember, you get to deal with these things. You don't have, it's not a has to. You get to go through these phases in life. And what you don't want to do is numb those situations with alcohol and have you forget all of those, all the whole building of character that you had to go through to get there, right? And so she says it's not for kings to be constantly in alcohol, right? Verse 5 says, "Lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted," right? You want to be sober minded and vigilant at all times, right? So you can make clear and cut decisions, because the decisions in your circumstances, I mean, the situations in your circumstance causes you to make decisions constantly, especially when you're not where you want to be, right? Or if you are where you want to be, just like the dude said in the video clip, right? It comes with those tough decisions. You want to be as sober as possible when you make those decisions.
Right. Also, becoming an Israelite in the knowledge of the truth and coming back to the Lord's commandments. Big part of that is the Sabbath day. You could look at it two ways. I have to stay in on the Sabbath, right? Or I get to stay in on the Sabbath. A lot of us see us having to rest on the Sabbath as a chore and as a limitation and a chastisement. We don't see it as an honor and as a
privilege.
A privilege, right? Con. We don't see it as an honor and a privilege to get to do it, right? Meaning we get to rest. We get to take things off of our mind and focus on God. We get to, right, have a whole day, right, where we don't have to worry about work, right? We get to. We asked for this truth. We received it. A lot of us, we were looking for the truth. And, we looked in so many other places, couldn't find it. And we finally found the truth. Now you get to abide by the truth. It's not, dang, I can't go, bro. I have to stay in. No, you get to stay in.
Come. Man. You get to do these things, man. Read verse 6 for me.
Verse 6. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts.
Right, man. And I say this to say, the situations that you're in do not warrant you to cause yourself to be ready to die or to have a heavy heart, right? Women, put that wine glass down just because your kid is being a kid, because you asked for that kid. Put that wine glass down. You don't have no heavy heart, or you shouldn't have a heavy heart. Matter of fact, you should be cheerful. You should have high hearts, right? Light hearts. You should put your baby to sleep after a long day and put a smile on your face.
With the precept that we read earlier, let patience have its perfect work.
Right. For my men, right? Put the strong drink down. You're not ready to perish. You're not ready to die yet, bro. Just because you had a long week at work. Then the Most High promised us that we would get money, we would feed ourselves by the sweat of our brow. It comes with the territory. We knew this was gonna happen, bro. You're not ready to die yet, though. I'll let you know right now. Just because you're not making the money you don't want to that you want to make, right? Get out of that funk. Get out of that depression. You know what I'm saying? You get to do this. You get to chip away at it every day to get where you want to be. Right? Verse number 8.
Verse number 8. Open thy mouth for the dumb and the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction.
Right, man. It's telling you to be an advocate. So even when you're going through, you still need to be an advocate for others, right? In their circumstances. The only way you can do that is by taking that principle into your life as gets to versus has to, right? That's the only way you can be a light unto others, even in your bad situation, right? A thing that a lot of Israelites are good at doing, because a lot of people in this truth are in bad situations, right? But you would never know it, right? And verse number 9, we'll set it right there before we get into a virtuous woman.
Verse number 9. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and the needy.
Come on, man. Right? You want to be able to plead for others, right? And not really so much have them plead for you when you really don't need it, right? You really don't need it, if we being honest. Let's go to Philippians 4 and 11. And this is actually going longer than I expected. You know what I'm saying? So Salakia, but I feel like this is necessary. So Philippians 4 and 11.
Philippians chapter 4 and verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content.
Right, man. Whatever state you are to be content, right? What does content mean? Right? Let me see if I can just pull it up on my phone real quick and read the definition. Content in a state of peaceful happiness. No matter what state you're in, you should be in a state of peaceful happiness. Keep reading. Verse 12.
Verse 12. I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound.
I mean, I know how to be low and I know how to be high, right? I know how to be at peace and still be happy when I'm broke, and I know how to be at peace and be happy, right? When I'm rich, right? When all things is going good for me and when things are not going too good for me. Why? Because I get to go through those situations. I get to wake up and face those challenges. Some people don't get to wake up, right? Some people don't get the chance to get up out of the hospital. Get the man, there's a viral video going around of a brother just got sentenced to life plus 20 years, plus 20 years, plus 5 years, plus 7 years, right? Some people don't get the chance to have hope to just go out and breathe the air in the public that's not in the prison, right? You know what I'm saying? So I know how to have peace, abased and abound. Keep reading.
Based and abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need.
Right, man. You got to have a good balance, man. That good, healthy balance is like it's a fine line between being never satisfied but satisfied at the same time, right? You got to find that fine line, though. You know,
right?
So it doesn't make you crazy.
And sometimes when you're in this truth, if life going a little too good, you start worrying like that. Something bad about to happen.
Right. Whenever I find myself in a place where life is going really, really good, man, I get to praying. Hey, look, to the Most High, Look, I don't know why you're blessing me. I don't know why you're showing me favor, but continue showing me favor, please. Continue showing me the way that I need to walk to keep receiving this favor, right? Because like the brother said, oftentimes when stuff starts going really good, it comes crashing down sometime around the corner, right? And then of course, man, you got to read the classic verse 13.
Verse 13, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me.
Right? I can do all things, no matter what situation you're in, right? You got to remember what? You got to remember what? That you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, bro, right? No matter what state you're in, high or low. Staying in the same chapter, I believe, we're going to go to verse 6, right? Verse 6.
Verse 6, be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God.
This is telling you to chill out, man, right? When it says be careful, it's really telling you, hey, calm down, chill out. Don't move anxiously or too cautiously when things arise. Matter of fact, when something arises, you should be at peace, chill. You know who to go to. You got a resource. Tap into that resource, right? Give thanksgiving to God and make your request known unto him. He will handle it. As he says, he provides for the birds and the flowers, right? He clothes the flowers and he feeds the birds of the air, and they neither sow nor reap, right? Philippians 4:6. This is a good one. When it says be careful for nothing, it really is telling you to not be in haste and not to be anxious, right? Don't get worked up. Don't get that high blood pressure going. Black man, black woman, right? Take a chill pill. You have a resource, and do like the previous verse said, right? Be content, meaning always stay in a state of peaceful happiness, no matter what arises. That's one thing that we all have to work on. I mean, throughout the day, fires come up that you got to put out, and you just gotta take a chill pill, knowing that you're gonna handle it when you handle it, and that God is gonna give you the tools that you need to handle it. Right? Let's go to Timothy, 2 Timothy. And I just got two more precepts, man. Two more precepts, and we out of here. 2 Timothy 2:5. All right.
2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 5, and if a man also strive for masteries, yet he is not crowned, except he strive lawfully.
Right, man. This is pretty much saying, hey, look, you gotta take what comes with the territory. If a man strives for masteries, you have to go about it lawfully, right? So if you let's take it for schooling, right? Education. Somebody who's striving to get their master's or their PhD, they have to go through um, the battles and the things that come with trying to get that degree, right? Passing every test, dealing with failing a test, right? Dealing with not knowing answers. You have to get there lawfully, right? You have to get there by dealing with everything that comes with it. The clip mentioned Jason Tatum being in the NBA. He gets to deal with everything that's thrown at him because he asked to be in that situation. He gets to guard the hardest people to guard in the world. He gets to go against and try to score against the best defenders in the world, right? He gets to go against the best teams in the world. And then afterwards, after the game, he gets to face the scrutiny and the criticism that comes with it, right? If you're striving for masteries, know what comes with it, right? Again, count the cost. And then I got one more precept, man, and we'll call it quits. Let me see. John 16:33. John 16:33.
Look at John chapter 16 and 33.
Our Lord and Savior speaking.
These things I've spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world.
Right, man. We got to understand this all has been done before, right? You know, in times where Christ was, you know, he was going through it too, sweat and blood and everything, but he has overcame the world. He's overcame all that to let us know that, hey, it's nothing for you to be worried about. I was really tripping. I was really tripping. It wasn't that deep. You know what I'm saying? He's letting you know. He said, I have spoken to you that you might have peace. He said, I'm saying this so you have peace. Trust me, I've been through it. And trust me, it ain't nothing. It's cake. It seems like something, but it's cake. Take a chill pill, be calm, collect yourself, and reflect on the scriptures that we brought out today. Where it said, the first one that says, count it all joy, right? One of them said to be content, meaning to have a peaceful happiness in every situation. Learn how to be abased and abound, right? Be of good cheer, Christ says, right? Whenever you're going through these things, he said, I've overcame what you're going through, right? It's cake. You can do it. Put down that wine glass, put down that strong drink. You can get through it, I promise, because you don't have to go through it. You get to go through it. Christ got to do that. Christ got to be the sacrifice. He didn't have to be, right? He got to be the sacrifice. He took it cheerfully, right? So that's all I got. You got anything?
Yeah. 1 second. Something real quick. Yeah, man. Sirach chapter 2, man. I thought he was gonna go here, man, but all his precepts led straight to this, man. They all said the same thing as this. And then I just felt like the way that this says it, man, it just goes so well with the title and with the flow of the video. So I'm gonna bring it out here and add to a wise saying. Sirach chapter 2, starting at verse 1. I'm gonna read from 1 to verse 4.
I'll read. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Yeah, man, you know, you asked for this. You asked to serve the Lord. So you got to prepare yourself for temptation. When temptation comes, you can't say, dang, I have to go through all this temptation, bro. It's so hard, bro. No, you get to go through the temptation. He told you to be prepared. Verse 2.
Verse 2, set thy heart aright, constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble.
Right. Don't go nowhere just because you get a little, you know, a little temptation. You get a little fire. You get a little pushed back, you know, just because you get a little resistance. Man, don't go nowhere. You
I like what
asked for this.
I like what it said right there at the beginning. It says, set thy heart aright, meaning like check yourself, man. Pull your britches up. Get yourself right. Take a minute to collect yourself. You know what I'm saying? Get your heart right.
Right. Don't make haste in time of trouble because you asked for trouble.
Right.
It's a whole thing called Jacob's trouble in the Bible. If you want to be Jacob, you're asking to go through Jacob's trouble.
Right.
So you're asking for it, right?
Right. One thing my wife said, taught my daughter, as we were raising her, is that whenever she gets frustrated or mad or upset, right, she tells her, hey, breathe. You know what I'm saying? Take a breath. You know what I'm saying? Verse number 3, it says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at the last end.
Verse 3. Oh, my bad. Salakia. You just read it. Verse 4.
Verse number 4. I'll read verse 3 again. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou may be increased at that last end.
Right, man. The last end, meaning you get to do all this because you have hope for the end, what you're gonna get and receive at the end, right? When you're doing your job, right? You know, you get to do what you're doing to make money, right? Some people can't make money at the end of a week or at the end of 2 weeks, but you get to do that. Whether that job is hard or easy, you get to do it, right? And it's the same thing for the Lord, man. When you serving the Lord, whatever comes your way serving the Lord, you get to do it because you know that you have a reward on the other end.
Right, man.
Just like you get to do it, just like you get a reward.
Right, man. Just be increased in the last end. We were made these promises by the Most High when He says, you should reap your harvest if you faint not, right? If you faint not, if you go out there and keep watering that thing every day, you know what I'm saying? Even day might be long, you might not feel like going out there and doing it. If you keep doing these things and well doing, you're gonna reap that harvest if you faint not, man. You're gonna be increasing the last end. Verse number 4, it says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take it cheerfully and
Right.
be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
Right. What does it mean to take it cheerfully? It means to look at it through a different lens. You get to do it, right?
Right.
And you literally, when you change from has to gets to, it changes the dynamic of what's in front of you, right? Just as simple as that, right? It
Right.
changes the dynamic. Meaning,
Hey,
instead of you being pitiful and being mad, you're now looking through a different lens, and you're seeing the upside of it, right?
right.
They always say, well, look at the upside, right? You're looking at the upside of it. Or people usually say stuff like, you want the good news or the bad news. It's the same situation, but it has good news and it got bad news. All we're saying in this video is, bro, you got to look at it as good news all the way around.
Right, man. It says take it on cheerfully, right? You get to one thing, like we paint, right? And dealing with picky leasing what are
Managers
property managers
or
dealing with,
customers in general.
yeah, just dealing with picky people, right? It might grind your gears when they pick out something that's really, really small that you think, they might be tripping, right? But take it cheerfully, because hey, some people would love to have those type of problems. Some people would love to have clients in general. Some people would love to have contracts in general, right? So take it cheerfully. We talked about it earlier today about the Chick-fil-A service, right? Somebody complained about something. Oh, don't worry about that. I'll fix that for you. It's my pleasure, right? Even though in the inside you think like, man, this is tripping. You know what I'm saying? He's tripping. But you take it on cheerfully, right? Verse number 5. For gold is tried in the fire and acceptable.
I was gonna stop at verse 4.
Oh, my bad. Con, man. Verse number 5 is cool too. It says, an acceptable men in the furnace of adversity, right? You can't be an acceptable man or woman if you don't face adversity and with anything that you're going through at the time, right? If you don't want adversity, right, to arise to make you better, then I'm looking at you as a different type of person, right? And you should change your perspective from having to deal with adversity to getting to deal with adversity, right? Because you think about it, you get through adversity. These are things that you can teach your kids, man, because they're gonna face them too, right? You don't want to shy away from it. You want to go through it. You want to plow through it and get to the other side as fast as possible, so you can gain the wisdom from it, so you can share with other folks, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just a mindset at the end of the day. Has to versus gets to. You don't want to feel like it's a burden. You want to feel like you got the privilege to do these things, right? But if we don't have any, I don't have anything else. If you don't have anything else, man, you guys remember, Christ said, if you're not gathering, you're scattering. So do your due diligence to help promote this gospel, to evangelize, to get this word out there. And we're gonna give all honor and glory to the Most High God for everything, by way of His Son, who is an instrument of salvation for the nation. We'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. Hope it was edifying. Remember, has to versus gets to. You get to instead of have to. Shalom.